Advanced Social Media for Beginners number 3 starts now. Today, I'm going to jump ahead to the finish line and talk to you about content. Because the entire point of being on social media is to share your content with the people you want to share it with to create a dialogue, a relationship. That doesn't work without having content. That means you're tasked with creating some content. So today, I'm going to give you the 3 things that you need to create some video content. Number 1, you're going to need a camera. You see, that's a fancy camera. But this is the camera you're gonna need. This is your cell phone. As long as you have a relatively new cell phone, the camera back here, more than adequate to put together most of your content. All these things, they're just toys. If you like playing with toys, you should get those things, but they're not necessary when creating content. Number 2 is something I really didn't get until like the 100th video that I did, and that's lighting. You see, the difference between this fancy camera and this cell phone is something people won't notice, but the difference between good light and horrible lighting is something they'll definitely notice. Here's what I do. Blinds. I literally sit next to them almost every time I'm filming. This is me sitting next to that same window, but now the blinds are closed. All the lights are on, so to my eyes, it looks nice and bright in here, but to the camera, much dimmer. In fact, if I was shooting on the cell phone for this video, the cell phone would adjust for that and brighten everything up. But it does that digitally, and that's how you get the fuzz in your video. You don't want the fuzz. So don't buy fancy lights, just open the blinds. Now, number 3, for most of us, is the hardest part. Coming up with something to say. It's not enough to just sit here and talk to the camera next to the free light. You have to create something that's actually engaging for the audience you want to target. That's where so many people fall short. They can come up with a few interesting concepts, and then they just kind of run out of topics. The only reason I've gotten to this many videos is because I'm constantly keeping track of new topics to discuss. If something interesting comes up, I add it to the list. If something's popping, I add it to the list. If I have a problem, whatever the topic of that problem is, I add it to the list. Because if I run into the problem, chances are you have too. I want to talk about it. So there you go, social media for beginners. Number 3, use whatever camera you've got, find some nice free light, and make sure that you're keeping track of some topics because you want to stay interesting. Make sure you stop by next week and catch number 4. Right now I'm putting together the 3rd installment of Advanced Social Media for Beginners, and today I talk about the pieces you actually need to create content. Because let's be honest, social media is pointless without content, and to create content, you need some basic items. You can catch the video later this week, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to advise you go out and buy a bunch of fancy equipment. It's just not necessary. Alright, I lied. I'm going to tell you 2 things. Something you will need is a window. If you're going to create good content, you need a window.